Hello, all you fine, beautiful people. I'm back here once again with another reaction, and today I'm going to be reacting to Giant Steps by John Coltrane. If you're new to the channel, I play a song all the way through, give you my thoughts and opinions on it at the end. And as usual, if there's anything you want me to react to, please put it down in the comment section. I try to get around to everyone's suggestions. So I've heard this album by John Coltrane before, but I don't think I've ever sat down on here and actually listened to it intently. Like, it's always kind of been like on, I might just be listening to music and just listen to it. But I thought, you know what, shout out to Andy Edwards for talking about jazz, because he kind of lit the fire under me to actually go listen to and actually kind of look at jazz. So, because it's something that I never really delved into, and I remember back in about January, sometime in there, I was going through a great jazz kick where I was just listening to jazz after jazz after jazz, and that's how I started listening to Santana a lot more, John McLaughlin, Mahavishnu Orchestra, Coltrane, Miles Davis, Thelonious Monk, Ornette Coleman, Duke Ellington, some others along the way, Chick Corea. Listened to a little bit of his, the McLaughlin Santana album they did together. So I thought, you know what, let's go back and listen to this and really go into it. So without further ado, here it is. This is the 2020 remaster official audio for those of you who are curious. Here it is. Giant Steps by the great John Coltrane. So that was Giant Steps by John Coltrane. Wow, I love this. Coming from a fan of Frank Zappa, I can hear Zappa in here, where Zappa would maybe get like John Coltrane type influences throughout some of his music. Wow, what a frenetic energy. Like, there's parts of this where you hear the drums and the bass together, and you start feeling like, here seems like some rock and roll, like what would probably be used by a lot of rock bands, percussionists. Just really interesting how it just has such an energy, a drive to it. One of my all-time favorite John Coltrane albums is that I've heard. I've heard very few John Coltrane albums, just to be fair, but one of my favorites is Interstellar Space, where it's no more than John Coltrane and a drummer, and there's just something so it's just primal about it, that I get that same feeling here, where it feels like with the drums and the bass, there's just something so primal, so danceable to it, yet so out there, so kind of insane. Hearing hearing the piano underneath, and you hear like chords at times, then it kind of breaks out where he gets to solo a little bit, and he's playing around on this. Really interesting. I can really hear kind of like what, I could be completely off, I could be completely wrong with this statement, but you can hear like the free jazz in here that Coltrane would be known for. That kind of, free jazz, avant-garde jazz, where it's just going and you're just pretty much being like you and your band and the laws of nature, and don't mess it up. It just, there's just something so amazing listening to this. You hear Coltrane playing, and it kind of sounds almost as if he's out of this world. Like, you're just hearing him play this saxophone, I believe he's playing. And it's really, really interesting to listen to. Hearing it just go all over the place into all these different weird kind of sounding places. I admit I don't come from a jazz background. I've heard some fusion, heard some rock, like I said, very limited in what I've heard. Like, I haven't taken like a deep, I went through a jazz phase where I was listening to it constantly, and I'd listen to an album here, I'd move from like Coltrane's Interstellar Space, which was actually my introduction to jazz, and I was listening to this and being like, what the heck is this? Then I discovered Duke Ellington, Miles Davis, Thelonious Monk, Ornette Coleman, Chick Corea, Return to Forever. Later on, listened to Jeff Beck and heard a lot of his jazz fusion albums. Who else? John McLaughlin, Mahavishnu Orchestra. And yeah, really kind of just going all over the place. Dave Brubeck Quartet. Heard that album, Take 5, I believe it is. But there's a lot of great stuff out there, and I thought, you know what, come on here, kind of bring some jazz. I know, not very familiar. I think on the Prog Corner, my co-host Scott's probably a lot more familiar with jazz than I am. But it is something that I did listen to, and I'm like, you know what, this is, I really enjoy it. Like, when I discover something and I really enjoy it, I go back to it a lot. And this is something that I thought, you know what, it's been a few months after going through this phase that I thought, you know what, let's go back, let's go to some of the stuff I listened to and kind of just react to it, give like kind of a feeling on it, because I did listen to it so much, and there's just so much. I think I just hit overload where I can hear stuff, and I can, like, if I'm not sitting down and actively listening to it, I do get points where I'm very I forget it very quickly. It's one of the sad things about last few years is my memory quite isn't what it used to be. Like, I used to be a steel trap for all this stuff. But yeah, it's really interesting. It is a field. Like I said, Andy Edwards was a guy who I heard talk about jazz and got me actually interested. And I heard him do like his top 10 jazz albums of all time. And I'm like, you know what, let's listen to some of these and see how they sound. But I really enjoy this song, Giant Steps, this whole album. Love Supreme's another classic album by Coltrane. But yeah, so that's my thoughts, opinions. I'd love to know what you guys think, especially jazz aficionados out there. Am I right? Am I wrong about this? Like, the music behind it is absolutely superb. Like, I'm listening to it and I'm like, Jesus, like I could see, it makes me wonder, what did somebody, when this was released, think of this? Like, was it like, what did we just listen to? Or was it like, oh yeah, that's nice. But anyway, like I said, it's my thoughts, opinions. But I will say thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot. This is me here signing out. Peace.